This is Cecily Henderson. Thank you so much for being here in this safe space today. I am very excited to introduce my next guest. She is a psychotherapist and also has written a book. So I would love for her to share her journey and story with you. Natalie, welcome to the Hope for Healing Network.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm honored that you're on because this is what the network is all about, is hearing people's stories and journeys, how they've overcome, difficulties in their life, and now they're helping people. So, Natalie, why don't you just tell us a little bit about your journey, kind of start from the beginning?
Sure. Well, I am a hypno psychotherapist in Australia. And yes, you said already that I've written a book called Discover Your Hidden Potential. So my journey started really, I was going because, it's hard to pinpoint exact moments sometimes, but I can say that it was probably my divorce, which was about 8 years ago now, that set me on the trajectory of different experiences and a lot of growth really quickly. So it's sometimes sad that traumatic or stressful experiences lead you to growth because it's a hard thing to go through. But the beautiful thing is that we do grow and they're there for a reason. So I don't look at negative experiences in the same way anymore. I look at how it's actually going to teach me something and what I can learn from it and how I can grow. So it takes a lot of pressure off, I think. So no matter what I've gone through in life, I do have, you feel all the emotions of the situation. Absolutely. You don't disassociate from it. But I do look at those for opportunities for growth. Yeah.
I love that you have this positive outlook that everything, it's an opportunity, right? All these trials that we go through are just opportunities for us.
That's it. I've been called the eternal optimist, somebody said to me the other day. So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Now you work with clients, right?
Yes.
One-on-one clients. And so what is there something specific that you work with, like trauma, or what is your specialty?
Okay. So the normal things that a hypnopsychotherapist would work with is anxiety, fears and phobias, depression. I've worked with, PTSD. Also, the typical stuff that hypnotherapy is known for, weight loss, quit smoking. I have also a passion for, I guess, helping people to manifest the lives that they want to live. And that's again what the book's about. And we'll get to that book in a minute and how that came to be, because I never wanted to be an author. That wasn't on my list of things to do. So that experience that happened after the divorce was quite profound for me. But I definitely love Dolores Cannon, a very famous hypnotherapist, and I just love her work. She was a past life regressionist, and so I've sort of followed in her footsteps, and I've studied that, and I help people do past life regressions as well. I do quantum biofeedback. So basically that is a modality where you realign the mind, the body, and the biofield. It helps to, it allows the flow of energy through one's body, and that helps to reduce stress. It's a great stress reduction tool. And it's quite enlightening because the voice is actually better than a fingerprint. It knows everything about us, what we think, what we feel, everything. It knows where there's blocks in our energy throughout our whole body, our meridians, everything. And we can't use it as a diagnostic tool because it hasn't been approved by the FDA. But it's really interesting that when I do a voice print for somebody and I go through the results, how accurate it is. And the clients are always astounded. So I do that. I do the hypnopsychotherapy. I do Tesla metamorphosis energy healing and non-touch energy healing. It's akin to Reiki. It's just a different modality, but it's energy healing like you would in Reiki. I teach workshops as well. So workshops to discover your hidden potential, to live your best life. I run workshops to enhance people's intuition so they can rely on their sixth sense, because we have more than five senses. We absolutely do have a sixth sense. It's innate in us. It's just perhaps we take it for granted. And because we're all so busy with getting on with life and earning a living and family and work, And all the distractions that come. There's lots of things that grab our attention, like social media and this and that. And that really detract. We tend to not go inwards as much and listen to that inner voice. So the workshops, I help people to be able to distinguish that inner voice, and I like to say, turn the volume up to it. So it
Yeah.
can help people. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, no. I loved because we were talking about the inner voice and listening to that and being intuitive. And I've had my own experiences that I shared with you, but yeah, it's fascinating because I want you to explain a little bit more about that.
The inner voice.
Mhm.
Yeah, because when we listen to that inner voice, which is a real thing, it's not our imagination. And imagination is really being downplayed, in my opinion, in society, because they say, oh, that's what kids do. It's all in your head. It's just your imagination. And we hear that so often, but the imagination, the mind, is our gift given to us from the all that is. And it's given to us to create solutions to problems, to create the experiences that we want to experience. And so the mind and the imagination is the gift. It's the jewel in the crown, if you like. So it is important to listen to that and turn it up, because it is your inner guidance. As an example, have you ever gone down the road in your car and thought, oh, the traffic's all banked up, and you're presented with a choice? Should I stay in the, bumper to bumper situation with the traffic, or should I, do a cut through, take a side street and get me through? Maybe I'll get there quicker. And something told you to stay in the bumper to bumper situation, perhaps, but you thought, no, something's telling me that, but no, it all happens in a split second. So you take the side streets. I use this example because it's happened to me. It's very real. And when I got into the side street thinking, oh, this is going to be great, I've got to take the kids to school, it's going to be a great cut through, there was a garbage truck blocking the whole road, and it was going very slow, and there was no way I could get around it. And so I had to wait this whole entire street for this garbage truck because I couldn't
Wow.
take it anywhere else. And I thought, I knew I should have stayed in the gridlock at the time, but it would have flowed eventually. And if I'd stayed, I would have got to where I needed to be quicker. And so my intuition told me that, but I chose not to listen to it and to take the side street because my logical mind thought it knew better.
Oh my
So
goodness. So many times we think that, right? We let our logical mind take over and we don't really listen to that gut intuition feeling. And I've had that many times in my life and be like, darn, why didn't I listen to that? But that's what you try to help people with, right? Is to listen to that intuition.
absolutely. Absolutely. And how I try to, that's exactly right. And I help people to find out what way they intuitively receive messages, because some people will feel it in the gut. Some people will hear a voice. Some people will just know. So there's all different clairs, clairsentience, clairvoyance. So I help them to work out, they've got all of them. We all have all of them within us, but people have ones that are more dominant. So I help them to find out which one that is, and then we turn it up, and then we bring the other ones into it. So yeah, it's an important part of us. And I absolutely want to validate we have that sixth sense. It's just so important. It really does guide us and keeps us in the flow. It's when we don't listen to it that we tend to hit walls and life doesn't flow. And we just find ourselves thinking, well, what is going wrong here? Every time, it's just, an important thing I want to mention, to do that very simply, one way, there's many ways of doing things, but I like to share this one because it's easy. The heart has intelligence. The heart holds memory as well. In heart transplants, if there was a little boy that loved trains and his heart was used and given to a little girl who, didn't like trains, there's evidence, there's lots of stories, true stories, that all of a sudden this little girl has an interest in trains. So there's memory stored within the heart organ. It's not just an organ, it's an electrical device. And in my book, actually, I talk about the heart. I break down our bodies into components as to who we truly are. So yeah, I've got that in the book. But what I want to say is, if you put your hand on your heart when you have a question, something tricky going on in life, If you just give yourself 2 minutes, sit down, present the question clearly. What should I do? Should I take that job or not take that job? Should I marry that person? Not marry that person? Put your hand on your heart. Your heart has the answer before it goes into the head. To me, the head is like the roller coaster. It sends you on a bit of a ride and you come out of it going, oh, I'm exhausted, but if you put your hand on your heart, sometimes it's hard to take that answer because sometimes, you have to do things to actually what am I trying to say? To do what the heart tells, sometimes maybe it could be ending a friendship that's not serving well. So sometimes it's hard to listen to the heart, but the heart, does know. So that's a good way to do it. And the other way to do it is if you have a hard decision to make, you could get a coin. You could go, okay, just say should I marry, this is a silly question really, or not really, some people do think about this. Should I marry Bob or should I marry Bill? Okay, if it lands on tails, it's Bob. Okay, so you flip the coin. It lands on tails. It's Bob, okay, because you presented the question. In that moment where you look at tails and you saw Bob, did you feel happy? It felt right? Or did you go, oh, I sort of preferred that it would be Bill? Well, there's your answer there.
This is so fascinating. I love it that you're right. The heart really does speak. And
Yeah.
I've had that many times, and so many times we don't listen. I don't slow down sometimes because I get stuck up here, right, with the logical part. But if you slow down, and I love that, slowing down to listen to your heart.
Yeah, definitely. I've written a hypnotherapy that's attached to the book that people can get because it's, I really love it when people do, participate in journaling. But I thought sometimes that's hard for people to sit down and write, and some people don't like writing. So I thought if I make a hypnotherapy, then they can listen to that. And what it does is it allows you to review your day while you're in hypnosis, which is like a daydream state. And what it says in there is that, what did I do great today? Give yourself a pat on the back. I'm breaking this down very simply. What did I come across today that didn't really feel good or I could have done better? And you have an opportunity in that hypnosis because you're actually engaging with the deeper part of your mind, your subconscious, which is 95% of your mind, the subconscious. It's very creative in there. It will present ways, create strategies, ideas that will allow you to maybe change that situation so you don't live life on repeat like Groundhog Day, repeating the same situation and getting the same outcome. So that hypnosis is really good because you're not only reflecting on the day, you're actually participating in your life, getting to know you better, because the most important person, the most important relationship you can ever have is the one with yourself. So you're getting to know you better. You're getting to create ways and solutions to do things better. So you're growing as a person, and you're also validating yourself, what you did great and how you would like to do that again because it felt good. So it's not all doom and gloom in there. We also have to give ourselves lots of love and appreciation for ourselves, So it's an opportunity to do all of that. And so I think that's a great way to do it if people aren't into writing things down, journaling. But that reflection, even just 10 minutes a day, even 2 minutes a day, is so important because we get off the hamster wheel of life and we reflect. And it's only upon reflection and getting to know yourself. And what that means is when something irked your gherkins, just say, something upset you. I love that phrase. It's so funny.
Funny.
Something irks your gherkins. And, which means you were reactive about something. If somebody said something and it caused you to feel hurt in some way, or whatever negative reaction that would be, it gives you an opportunity to reflect on that and understand where that came from within you. So then you can work on yourself. If you want to change and you want to experience a different situation in your life, you have to work on yourself. Everything we know comes from within, doesn't it? All the work on the outer comes from the inner.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. What a great tool, reflection. And I mean, I reflect, I try to reflect every day, but and there's something I've wondered, and maybe because you work specifically with clients that are doing this reflection, is when I had anxiety, because I had anxiety disorder for years. I mean, it was terrible. But anytime I would reflect, I would go down that rabbit hole, the negative rabbit hole. Do you ever work with clients that do that? I mean, what would you advise them if they're
Oh,
going
yeah.
down that rabbit hole?
Okay, absolutely. This is probably one of the main issues I work with. So, okay, so like I said, I'm a hypnopsychotherapist that facilitates every session with a client with hypnosis. So I would sit down with my client and I would do cognitive behavioral therapy. I would find out what the triggers are, what the thoughts and the feelings are, and then what their safety behavior is, or their behavior is to cope with all those negative thoughts and feelings. Now, we know there's a lady, Dr. Caroline Leaf. I believe she's in the US, but don't quote me. She's a neuroscientist. I think she's a neurosurgeon as well. She wrote a book called Cleaning Up Your Mental Mess. In fact, let me just pull up this photograph I want to show you. This here is a picture from her book, and I hope it's not copyright and it's okay if I share it. I've cut it out. What this is neurons in people's brains. And you asked me how I help people that go down that rabbit hole with those negative feelings and probably feel worse. All right, so what we know is that it takes 21 days to form a long-term memory. Dr. Caroline Leaf says it takes 63 days to create change. These are neurons in one's brain. These are all the thoughts and the beliefs. So if we're actually thinking over and over again about a negative situation, we are wiring up the brain. It's like a computer with wires. We have just installed programs of negativity, just say, as an example. And so to actually change these neurons in one's brain, firstly, we have to become aware. We have to become aware that we're having those thoughts. We have to become aware of how it feels in the body as somatic sensations. Maybe when we think of something that's stressful, maybe we feel it in the stomach. We hold our stomach tight. Maybe it constricts our throat and we can't communicate. Maybe we feel hot and our heart starts beating and our mouth starts going dry. When we can identify the physical sensations, then we can apply a stop. And we can start redirecting the thoughts to something positive of how that person wants to be. And so what happens is if they take action, the client, and they consistently engage in perhaps the hypnosis for creating this change and, bringing them to the moment where they identify the rumination, just say the negative thoughts, feeling in their body and being able to stop it in the moment because now they're aware that they're doing it. We've turned up the volume to awareness and they're witnessing themselves in the moment doing that. Then we can start helping them change by now, obviously we work on subconscious beliefs, but with this, it's just, putting how they want to be in there and getting them to shift the mind to redirect on something positive. There's more to it than that, but just to explain it in a very short way, that's probably the best I can come up with on the spot. But what it does is it grows new neurons in the brain, and that is like a new program. And
So fascinating.
And it takes 63 days or more to form this new program in the brain. So that's why I make it very clear to people that when they do hypnotherapy, it's not a one-hit wonder magical spell where they're going to go under and wake me up when it's done. It can work like that with, suggestions, but when we're dealing with PTSD and trauma and major anxiety and depression, it takes a bit more than that because it's come from somewhere, like those subconscious beliefs, usually formed in childhood between the ages of 0 and 7. Usually that programming is formed then. And they say, like, tell me the boy and I'll show me the boy and I'll tell you the man. There's a saying like that, which means, they're referring to those subconscious programs. Tell me what happened in their childhood, what they saw, what they experienced from the age 0 to 7. And, we'll tell you the man, because they become the subconscious programs that person will function from the rest of their life. until they start hitting a wall thinking, I'm not happy. Why are my relationships always breaking down? Why am I always attracting this or that? And it's usually tied to those subconscious beliefs that are working on autopilot.
Wow, what great insight. That, I mean, the person between the age of 0 and 7, they kind of form their beliefs and their perspectives, and so it's kind of innate, right? Isn't that what you're saying? It's a little bit
Yes.
innate in them, and
Yes.
that's why they become that way as an adult.
Yes, because when they are a child, they haven't developed in the brain the logical, analytical mind, that filter. It doesn't reason. That's why they say when we are a child, we are a sponge. Because we are a sponge, we don't have that filter. So whatever our parents or caregivers, whatever feedback we give them, like if the child keeps dropping things on the floor, just say, and the parents say, oh, you're so clumsy. Oh, you've done it again. Oh, you clumsy child. Oh, you're clumsy. Well, then that becomes a program for them that they believe, because there's no filter. They can't say, oh, mum's tired today, or dad's, he doesn't mean that. He loves me. He doesn't mean that. I'm not clumsy. I just made a mistake. They don't, that when we are children, we don't have that ability. So we accept it and it becomes our program. So that person will be clumsy because they believe that they are, because it was installed in childhood.
Wow, my
It's
gosh, that is
scary,
so
isn't it?
powerful.
It,
It
it can be,
is.
it is, it's scary, but it's powerful to know how it works, how we work, because then we can do something about it. Even just sharing that information with your audience, any young parents out there, then they become the witness to themselves. They become more mindful of how they respond, and hopefully respond instead of react, so they can set an example, because we are, as parents, literally programming our children. Yeah.
Wow, my goodness, what amazing information. And I wish parents would, and as me as a parent, I wish I would have had the information that we have now available,
Me too.
especially on the internet. I mean, we just kind of did it by the seat of our pants. That's what I
Absolutely.
did.
Absolutely. And, and that's fine too. There's, you know, I'm not sharing this to make anybody feel bad. I didn't know about this information when I raised my children. I was in dentistry for 32 years before I changed careers. And so from 0 to 7, that was already done, that bracket. And I just think, oh, well, I did my best, and that's all we can do. And we can't, stir up the dust of the past, because it can make us feel terrible. Just accept it as an experience. Say it's okay, today I'm in the now, and in this moment I can change perhaps the way that I respond. And that's why the reflection, going back to that, is so important, because we can pick up on these things and we go, all right, I need to actually now work out how I'm going to do that, respond differently next time. I'm going to say this next time instead of that, to help change the trajectory of things yeah, just become mindful of what we
Oh
do and
gosh.
say.
Yeah, mindful. That is such a great topic. And I would love, Natalie, I would love for you to come back and talk a little bit more about that, being mindfulness, the mindfulness, because when we become mindful of our actions, instead of focusing on everybody else's actions, right? We start thinking about what we're doing in a positive way, but it changes you. That's what I experienced when I started being mindful of myself and my actions and reactions. It just, the whole perspective of how I treat people or how I communicate changed.
Mm. Yeah, it does. It changes our vibration. It changes our energy. Awareness brings in a new vibration. It's funny. I heard once that somebody say, life has no meaning. Life has no meaning. It only has the meaning we give to it.
Mm.
And when we boil that down, the meaning we give to it comes from those subconscious beliefs that were formed in childhood and then reinforced through life. Because then once we're aware of something, just say we're aware of clumsiness, because maybe that was, we were told that become a subconscious belief. Then as you go through life, you have installed in the lenses of your glasses clumsiness. So you're going to see clumsiness more, and it's going to be reinforced in your reality. Would you like me to share the book and how that happened? Because I
Oh,
think that was
yes, please.
all right, because that story is a bit crazy. All right, so I'll hold it up because just so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this book that I wrote, Discover Your Hidden Potential. I'm not here promoting it. I'm here to talk about it. I really don't care whether anyone buys it or not. I think the people that will get it are the people that are meant to read it. So I'm not into that. Don't care. Because how this happened is that I never intended to be an author at all. Busy with life. I have twins. I was a single mum at the time, going through a divorce, Anyway, in the middle of the night, I am remarried now, so that's all changed for me and life is wonderful. So in the middle of the night, I'm also a very good sleeper. I'm like one of those dolls that, the eyes shut when you lay them down, those old-fashioned dolls. I was like that. And so I wouldn't wake up in the night, which is a beautiful thing. But I woke up this particular night and I had this voice. It was more than a dream. It was like very clear. There was somebody speaking to me in my sleep. It was different from a normal dream. And it felt like I was injected with enthusiasm. Not inoculated as such, but you know what I mean? Like I just felt such enthusiasm. So what happened is that I was downloaded in my dream all the titles for a book. There were many, about 15 to 20 of them. And the funny thing is that I had my phone next to my bed because I set my alarm for the morning. And bleary-eyed, I remember opening my eyes half asleep and I was a bit blurry. I grabbed my phone. Lord knows how I did this because I'm not tech savvy, but somehow I found notes in my phone and typed in with my one finger, because I'm not even a thumb typer, so I do it with my one finger, all the titles of the book. And they all had the same theme and they're all wonderful titles. They were really good. And I put the phone down, went back to sleep. I woke up in the morning and I said to my partner, you never guess what happened last night. I had this profound experience, had this voice talk to me, said that I'm going to write a book and I feel I want to do it. I'm going to write a book. I was so enthusiastic about it. So I wrote the book. During the journey of writing the book, they kept reappearing in my dream. So the book is about a guide to discover your true essence to live your best life. And it starts off as my breadcrumbs that lead to the blueprints. And it's actually what I called my YouTube channel years ago. And I decided not to have chapters in my book. I decided to call it my breadcrumbs that led to the blueprints of who we are, because that's what Spirit was wanting me to write. So the voice in my head, I believe, was Spirit. So the book is done. Lord knows how I did it because I didn't have any money either. And I said, okay, I feel this responsibility now. I know that I know I have a choice, but I know that I'm the humble servant almost, and I'm going to write this book. So I did it. And I said, but you have to help me financially too, because I don't have any money to do this. Like being a single mom, it was tough. And you know what? People came out of the woodwork, said, hey, would you like me to read your book? A small nominal fee. And I'm talking crazy because it costs sometimes thousands of dollars to edit a book. But they read through the book and they said, there's really nothing to edit here. It is really good how it is. They said it was a third category edit, which is just about commas and spacing and stuff. But they said it all flowed and it all made sense. As I was writing it, I actually felt moments of, it wasn't me. It was like I had this voice in my head. I felt love radiating out of my fingers in certain points when I was writing, because I wrote it pen to paper. And then there were other times. There was another episode while writing the book that I had a dream in a dream, and I had these letters presented to me. And in the dream, I wasn't really paying attention. I was over here somewhere experiencing, I don't know what. And this voice said really sternly, are you paying attention? And I said, yes, 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 but I really wasn't. So pretend that these were the letters. It was a white background, black bold letters, and they were coming closer and closer to my face in my dream. And the letters were WAHY. As they made me say that, because they wanted me to be paying attention, when I got to the Y, I thought, that's not even a word. And that was the end of that scene within the dream. It ended and that was it. But I was sleeping, so I never woke up. It was a dream and dream. The next day, so I didn't remember this dream when I woke up, but the next day, mid-morning, I was opening my mail. And as I was opening my mail, I remembered it. And I thought, oh, what's that? And I quickly grabbed my phone and I typed it in, WAHY, come up with a Wikipedia meaning straight away. And can I read you? I'll just Google it right now. Can I read
yes,
it?
yes, please.
I did write about it in my book, but because I was absolutely humbled, I hung my head down, I sobbed. I couldn't believe it. I remember thinking, that's not even a word. And I laughed. Okay, it says, Wa'i is the direct transmission of God's words of revelation to humans through prophets. In Islam, it is believed that God periodically reveals his will through Wa'i, W-A-H-Y, providing guidance for human affairs and leading to a happy afterlife. It goes on to talk about other things as well, the Quran. And that was funny because after I had that profound experience, because there's another definition too, and it talks about delivering information to people, being a messenger of God, a God's prophet, a chosen individual to share the word. And it says through leaving like impressions in one's mind, something like that. And I thought, my goodness, I'm a hypnopsychotherapist. I do suggestion work. And I've been, the book is all about helping people. And I just thought, this is unbelievable. I know nothing about Islamic beliefs. I didn't even know what I'm sorry to be ignorant, but I didn't even know what the Quran was about. I haven't read the Bible. I went to a Catholic school. I don't subscribe to any religion these days. I just know that I'm part of the all that is, and that's what resonates with me. I know I'm a divine creature. I'm a divine being from the all that is. I don't subscribe to religion because I just don't. It's just my truth. But isn't that crazy? So I put that experience in the book as well. So the book has been, profound experience. So now they want me to write another book. That came to me out of the blue as well. And again, they even gave me content this time. I woke up in the middle of the night, added it in, like text into my phone, content was flowing. It was like automatic writing, like lots of information coming out within 10 minutes, and I thought, this is crazy. And I said to them, I've only just finished that book and I'm really busy with my other projects. I promise I'll write it, but not yet, but perhaps next year.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. And it's that point that you brought up is so beautiful because I really think we are everybody on this earth, we're so connected, spiritually connected. We are very connected. And so if you set all of that religious aside, and I'm a religious person, but if you set all of that aside, looking at everybody, right? We're all connected, energy,
Yes.
spirit, all of that. And I think that's beautiful that you had that experience because for me, I just realized that we are all one. We're all one as far as the human race. And that's what makes us special.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just amazing to be alive. It's amazing to have a life. It's amazing to have a body so we can see and hear and taste and smell and think and create with our minds. No matter what the situation is, even the negative ones, it's the meaning we put to it. If we change the meaning of things, or we just even see it as a gift of transformation, a gift of awareness, I think life will move and flow a lot better because it is truly a blessing to be here. And let's face it, we're not going to be here forever. So we are the actors, the directors, and the producers of our own lives and our own experiences. So it's time for us to take the reins to our lives and our mind and create that experience we want. If something's holding us back, well, then it's time to address the subconscious beliefs, to make sense of them, to complete the circuit, if you like. It's like an incomplete circuit in the mind that needs to be completed. And then we can achieve those things and have those beautiful experiences that we want, even in the negative, because it's all beautiful.
I just love it. I love what you've been saying, and it resonates. And not a lot of people talk about that, right? Listening to that inner voice. So I would love, Natalie, to have you come back, talk about mindfulness and more about that inner voice, because I think hearing about that will resonate with a lot of people.
Right. I would love to come back. Thank you for inviting me. And
Oh,
thank you for
thank you.
your patience in letting me explain my answers because I know I do use a lot of words.
Oh, no, I love listening to you. Are you kidding? It's fun. And you have such a you have a beautiful spirit and a beautiful voice, and I can tell I can see your heart, and you just put it right out there. And I, I'm feeling fulfilled right now. So thank
Thank you
you.
so much. And your energy resonates with me too. I think we're kindred spirits.
You
On
know
a
what? I felt,
yeah,
yeah, that's how I felt too. Oh, she's like a kindred spirit.
absolutely. We're doing the same thing in our own way. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you,
And
dear.
thank
Well,
you. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for your channel. Thank you for doing your network, Hope and Healing Network. It's excellent. I think it's going to help a lot of people.
thank you so much, dear. That's what that is the hope, right? That is the
Yeah.
goal is being able to help as many people as possible. Um, Thank you for your time, Natalie. And for all of those that are watching, thank you for joining us. I mean, we just want you to know that you're loved. We're here for you. If you would like to connect with Natalie, we'll put her information in the comments. Also, Natalie, if you wouldn't mind putting your book in the comments as well, that would be wonderful.
All right. So in the comments, not in the description box in there. Okay. I'll work it out. I'm not computer savvy, but I'll get there.
It's okay.
Yeah, I can
We'll
edit
we'll
it out.
figure it out.
Yeah.
All
No
right.
worries.
Well,
Yeah.
perfect. And wherever you are in the world, you have a wonderful day. And thank you again for joining us. Natalie, you have a good day.
Thank you.